Man United podcast with Bids and Monty. Yo, and welcome back. Yet another episode. And I've got to say, this episode is up there. What a journey.
Yo, what a roller coaster of an episode, man. I know we've said it before.
Yes.
This one is right up there.
I mean, the conversations were so deep. We had a laugh along the way as well. But my days, we spoke about some topics today. Oh, I need to lie down. I've got to say, we spoke with a good pal of mine, Andy. He is a Forensic Collision Investigator for the Staffordshire Police. So yeah, there is some pretty deep and sad conversations during this episode. So there is definitely a trigger warning there. But but before we get involved, you do have some mentions, my friend.
I've got two mentions. Obviously, as you are aware, we are aware that I'll be leaving Vale. I want to say a big shout out to Samuel, who kindly gave me a 2021 Vale scarf for me to take to Scotland.
Hey.
And I appreciate it so much. Sam, thank you, bro. Also, a big shout out to Jack Ellis. As we know, has been doing this fundraising campaign for Mind Charity, and he's now £40 away from raising £1,000. So if you guys can get on his page, support it. And he's got one more thing that I might ask you, Bid, to jump in on us with it.
Yeah, man.
Live streaming Fortnite session, hopefully next week.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I've not played much Fortnite for a while.
But I haven't either.
I've been smashing a lot of Call of Duty Warzone, but I'll jump on Fortnite, mate, for sure.
Let's go. But
for sure. Definitely. Get involved in that.
Let's go. Ooh.
So enjoy this episode. Remember, if you are struggling, Samaritans, give them a ring. 116-123. Enjoy. Andy, welcome aboard, my friend. Welcome aboard.
Morning.
Nice Sunday morning. Can't beat
nice Sunday morning.
It is. Sun's out, glorious day.
It is.
Oh.
Woke up.
It isn't raining anyway.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
To be fair, all week, the weather prediction has just been completely off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'd be at work and I'd see the sun popping through the window. Next minute, I'd hear the hail smashing the roof. You just don't know what's going on with it at all.
It might be wet. It might be dry.
It might be.
We're not sure.
That's it. So, you are a Forensic Collision Investigator for Staff's Police.
I am, yeah.
Now, guess what I was doing yesterday?
Crashing cars.
No. I was actually watching some investigation videos.
Really?
Yes, on how they do things.
Right.
On how to get away with things. Oh.
No. No way. I'm not that kind of guy, mate. No, basically it's intriguing stuff because a lot of it blew my mind. Because you see a crash. Like I've been on the M6 and I've been stuck in traffic, right? And I'm like checking me map, see what's going on. Nothing on me. There's nothing happened. But then as I've gone further down, there's been a crash on the other side of the M6, and you're getting people slowing down to have a nose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's mad. But
that happens all the time.
Yeah. And I was watching a few videos yesterday on how they do things. And it's actually quite intense on how they look at things.
Mhm.
There's so much things that could have been the reason to the crash. And would it be right in me saying that most of the time a crash is led to human error?
Probably 9 times out of 10 it's human error.
Yeah.
It's very rare that you'll have anything that's down to a mechanical defect.
Yeah.
That's what we call it. Like a tyre blowout or something like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I can't really ever think of one where I've been to a collision where it's not human error, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the main reason why I started watching the video was because obviously we've got you on, and I wanted to get a bit more of an insight of what your job entails, because it's in the title. But after watching, because I must have watched about 3 or 4 hours worth of like these videos, somewhere over here, which I found a lot more interesting. And then there was some in America which were just crazy, mate. This is crazy shit, mate. And to be fair, after the 4 hours of watching, I felt like I just felt drained, because there's so much that entails, and you're seeing so much sadness, really.
Yeah.
So obviously when so when you're pulling up to a collision, I think before you get there, what's running through your head? Is it something that you can control?
You know what you go. Well, you kind of know. You get an idea from the control room. What kind of job you're going to. So if it's a confirmed fatality, the deceased tends to remain in situ, but a lot of the time they're still trapped within the vehicle.
Yeah.
And we ask that the fire service leave the person there just so we can photograph them, because there might be some evidence around them or even on them.
Yeah.
So we do ask for them to leave them as they are, and they are the ones, I suppose, where on one hand you're having to drive with blue lights on, so you're having to concentrate on your driving.
Yeah.
And then you've also got to be thinking, right, what do I need to do when I get there? Because you become, I suppose, really process driven.
Yeah.
So you have to think, right, what will I do when I first get there? I'll speak to him, I'll speak to her, I'll do this, that, the other. And then I suppose it then starts creeping in. God, what am I going to get when I arrive there? What state are they going to be in? And but so there's lots of stuff to really think about as you're getting there.
Yeah, because there's obviously a lot of evidence that normal people like myself, I don't like using the word normal people, but I just did anyway. Like if I came with you on a job and there's been a big crash, I'd be just looking at this car thinking, what the fuck? What am I looking for? But
and actually that does happen to us as well. I mean, I've been to jobs where you sort of think, you stand there and you're scratching your head and you sort of, I'm struggling to find any evidence here to see, and they're the worst ones.
Yeah,
because you kind of have to use your nous and your experience and to try and sort of piece together what's happened. Because I suppose my job is a big jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah,
and you just have to try and get it as close as you can, by reconstructing it and gathering the evidence. But there are times where I've stood there, and especially if you've got people there saying, well, this witness says this happened and that witness says that happened.
Yeah.
That isn't really fitting with what I'm thinking here.
Yeah. Yeah, because from what I saw, tyre marks are a big one. They give a lot of information, right?
Yeah.
And if there's no tyre marks, it makes it a bit harder.
It does, but nowadays you only get tyre marks really, or locked wheel marks in cars where there's no ABS. So if the ABS is
right, yeah,
hold the vehicle, because they obviously the idea of ABS is that it doesn't lock the wheel,
yeah,
but you can get sort of ABS marks, very light scuffs. But it's very rare, really, that it's only once the car's lost control and it starts to rotate that you'll tend to get marks.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, nowadays you rely heavily on vehicle technology.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was sort of what the vehicle was doing at any given time.
Yeah, yeah. Because they're saying as well, like, because especially in the one I watched that was in America, they get a hell of a lot of people going through red lights, and it's like hitting the side of the car. So that is, they said on there, that's like the worst. That is the worst collision that you can have.
Yeah.
But when there was on the one I watched, there was no tire marks, there was no brakes. So the car that was going across, which was on green at the time, obviously didn't need to brake. But then the car that was coming, that was hitting the red light, should have braked but didn't brake, and it just smashed it. But then there was a completely different spin because there was no survivors. There was no survivors, and like I don't know how the investigation had come about, because there's never any CCTV around places like
that. Well, I mean, you can even without survivors, you can reconstruct stuff using sort of maths and physics.
Yeah.
I won't bore you. Like momentum exchanges and things like that. But,
right, okay.
Yeah, so you can use, in certain circumstances anyway, you can use maths and physics to sort of try and reconstruct what you think happened.
Yeah. Well, what would you say it's been like for yourself and your colleagues? Because it must be, because you turn up to some horrific scenes. What's it been like mentally for yourselves and your colleagues? Do you speak about it afterwards, or?
We do. I mean, there are two sort of two halves really to the collision investigation side. Well, three really. You've got my role, which is the forensic reconstruction, and we sort of turn out and try and we photograph, we survey, recover any forensic and physical evidence from a scene.
Yeah.
And then you've got the investigators who deal with what I call the human aspect. So they'll get witnesses, gather CCTV, do the interviews of any offenders, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you've got the family liaison officers who deal with the family of the bereaved.
Yeah.
And I've done two of the three roles. So before I did the forensic side, I was an investigating officer. And in some respects, I found that far more difficult because you're dealing with the human side of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember probably the worst sort of incident I dealt with for the human side of it was 18-year-old lad killed himself by walking in front of a vehicle, a goods vehicle, and without getting into the specifics of it, and once we'd done certain investigations into like his search history and stuff like that, and then spoken to friends, it was fairly obvious that he was perhaps feeling a bit of pressure from his mum.
Oh, right.
To do well at college and all that sort of stuff. And there were all other sorts of issues going on in the background.
Yeah.
And I remember her ringing me up once at work and just crying and screaming down the phone at me saying, Andy, why has he done it? Why has he done it?
Yeah.
And I remember sort of sitting there thinking, what the fuck am I meant to say to that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if I don't tell you, I'm not answering your question.
Yeah.
I'm not. But if I do tell you, am I going to make it a whole shit worse for you as well?
Yeah, that's it.
And I kind of ended the conversation. I can't even remember what I said to her.
Yeah.
And just had to sort of put my coat on and just go and walk around the town centre for 10 minutes just to sort of clear my head, because it it was like an avalanche just coming towards you, with questions and emotion from her, quite understandably, I suppose. But that side of thing is really tough. I find that with what we're doing now, the forensic side of it. I always remember when I was being tutored in the role, one of the sort of senior collision investigators saying to me, the weirdest thing you'll ever do was look down the lens of a camera and try and zoom in and focus it to a dead body.
Wow.
And it's true.
Wow.
And
I think before you ever did anything?
Sorry?
Was this before like you ever experienced anything like that?
Yeah, because I'd obviously been to, throughout my service as a sort of local or divisional response officer, you're the first to turn up at these scenes. So I've been to collisions all of my service, but I've never really had to pay that much attention to what's within the scene, if you're with me. And it was only once you start to forensically look at what's within the scene that I think for me then I suppose I've got underlying mental health problems anyway, so certainly with depression and generalized anxiety disorder.
Yeah.
But that wasn't really a sound foundation to build on, because as soon as you started introducing trauma to that, for me, it just snowballed, and then at the end of 2019, I ended up going off sick for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
Essentially, my brain just stopped working.
Yeah. I suppose that's I suppose that's natural, though, isn't it? I think that'd happen to anyone, wouldn't it?
It does. I mean, one of the doctors said to me that the problem with police officers is you've got to be resilient to do your job.
Yeah.
But because you're resilient, it does your mental health no good, because you sort of keep plodding on regardless.
Yeah.
And adding more plates to spin. And you're not really ever dealing with it as you're going along. I mean, we do speak sort of within the team to each other.
Yeah.
And I'll speak to the sergeant about how I'm feeling, if I'm feeling crap or tired, or if I'm feeling good as well.
Yeah.
So we do try to talk, and we do have mandatory welfare as well. So we have to have welfare visits. I think it's once every 6 months.
Do the police have like an internal therapist or psychologist?
We've got the occupational health team who work for the police and the fire service.
Oh, right, okay.
So they've got a doctor, nurses, counsellors, therapists, that sort of thing. So I see one of their counsellors, Julie, a couple of times a year, if not more. Yeah. But I mean, no, she's really good, because I've got a mobile number and I can ring her or text her if I feel like I need to as well.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I think it was about, must have been round about last year, November sometime. I think I asked you if they did have any kind of help within the police.
I think policing in general, it's a really to talk about mental health, especially men's mental health, can be quite daunting, especially I suppose for more mature blokes.
Yeah.
Because it's, I suppose, still to some degree seen as you've got to be very, very manly, and you've got to be hard, and you've got to be able to go in a pub fight and handle yourself and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And to some degree, yeah, that's true. But also as well, you have to remember that we're human beings, and we react and feel and have the same emotions to everybody else out there. It's just that to some degree we have to manage them a lot more. So, for example, my job is to forensically examine something, a scene.
Yeah.
And I can't forget what I see, because in 18 months' time, I'll perhaps be in Crown Court having to explain that and be cross-examined about it. So I can't forget what I saw or what I did.
Yeah.
And then 7 years down the line, I might have to talk about it again at a civil court.
Wow.
So and all of this kind of builds up.
Yeah.
It's just how you deal with it and process it and manage it, I think.
So do you end up going court quite often then?
Yeah, I mean, we tend really to go to either the coroner's courts or the Crown Court.
Is that the Crown Court across from Manley Police Station?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or Stafford.
Yeah.
Depending on whereabouts the incident's happened.
I've been there. I've been there, mate.
Have you?
I have, yeah. I have.
Can I ask why?
Oh, that would be telling something confidential there.
If you started it, you better finish it, bro. So come on, why?
I was on a jury.
Ah, right, okay.
Oh.
So you were sitting on the right side of the fence then?
I was on the right side, definitely. I can't remember when it was. Quite a while ago now. But I tell you now, what an experience, man. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
People think it's all like, a bit Cavan QC, and it's just blokes and women wearing wigs and cloaks.
Oh God,
but there's so much more goes into it than that.
We've got everything in this chat. We've got a police officer. You've got someone who's being caught on the right side, and you've got someone who's being caught on the left side trying to defend this case.
Did you have a jury there, Monty?
Yeah, it was horrible, man. So obviously I talk about it openly, Andy. I got accused and charged with rape back in 2014. The trial? No, 2014 was the trial though. The trial was in 2014, I think it was, yeah. And it was horrible. Obviously, I didn't do anything, but it was just how the stories were matching, and I was scared, and I was saying things I shouldn't have said, and I went to court, and you're right as well in regards of when you witness something, and then you have to memorize it, and then try and repeat it in court. So that my thing was, it happened in 2012, and then the trial wasn't until 2014. So throughout that whole year, even though I was calm, relaxed, playing football and that, I was still having to go back and memorize and think and read all the statements and read all the interviews, and so it couldn't leave my head. And then it was just boom, 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 and it was just horrible. Yeah, and I had a jury in there, and it's just how you got to come across and the pressure. Obviously, for me, for you guys, I know probably for Andy and even you, Biz, obviously being on that side it's pressure either way. Jury, you have to make sure you make the right decision, and for police officer, you make sure you make the right statement and the right outcome is made. And for me, it was just about making sure that I came across as I knew it didn't happen. And it's just so hard to control your emotions, and it's horrible, man. But it's mad how 3 people are different angles. It's
honestly,
crazy, man.
Honestly, mate, I don't know if you've done it before, but if any of the listeners have done it before, if any of the listeners have done it, been on the jury duty, or been on the other side, whichever, let us know. But it is one mental roller coaster. Okay? From the start, from when you get that pink letter, mate. I got home, I had a pink letter that summoned me to the court, and I shit myself. I was like, what have I done? So I'm going through my head thinking, I haven't done anything. That's before I've opened the letter. And then I've opened the letter.
We feel like that, when you get the court warning.
Yeah.
And you think, oh, and you do get that sort of knot in your stomach.
Yeah.
And I do it for a job.
Yeah.
Because you know fair well that 9 times out of 10 you're going to be completely you'll be scrutinised. You'll probably have a defence barrister to try and make you look stupid.
Yeah.
And it is some. I don't like to use it part of the game because it isn't a game, but sometimes it kind of feels like it is.
I felt like I was in some kind of Cluedo, mate.
Yeah,
big time, honestly, because I got there on the day, and I think for the first 3 days I sat in a waiting room for 6 or 7 hours doing nothing, and mentally I was bored. I couldn't go out the room or anything. I felt like
there is a lot of hanging around.
Yeah, the lot.
Yeah.
So if you go to it, if you get called for jury duty, you don't know what you're going in for. You don't know what the case is going to be. You get there, you sit in a room, and you wait. You just wait.
You're not getting one.
You can only see the other people that are with you that have been called up for jury duty. You're just in a room, it's locked. That's it. 6 hours for 3 days. 3 days. And then
I think a month.
Yeah. Well, finally, the case came along, and then even then, it's not guaranteed you're going to be on the jury, right?
You're not guaranteed.
No, because they need, I think is it eight jurors, I think. 12, and there was 18 of us that went up, and obviously we all had a number, and I was like, please, my number needs to be called here. My number was the last one be called. Last one, mate. I was like, oh, finally. But then from there, it's a roller coaster, mate. Because the defense barrister was unreal. He was unreal at making you think, oh, not done that. But then the prosecutor guy, he was like, amazing. I was like, oh, he might have done it actually. And then and then the defense guy gets up, and you're like, oh yeah, actually, yeah, might not have done it now. And that's why it was like,
yeah.
And I'd go home, and I'd be mentally exhausted because I wouldn't be able to stop thinking about it.
But you can't talk about it,
and you can't talk about it, no. And so I'll be there chilling in the bath, thinking, going through all the evidence that I've witnessed, and I'd be like, yeah, and then I'd be playing it out again, and I'd be doing that every night after. It took me ages to finally just like stop thinking about it. Mad.
And I think as a juror as well, you have to see some of the, certainly in the cases we deal with, you're shown some of the evidence, so photographs.
I was shown, we got shown everything in the case that we were on. It was wow, just wow. Just
I think what makes it worse is the fact that you go through a roller coaster filled with emotions and all these things, thoughts and feelings, but then you can't then speak them out. You can't share them with your partner. You can't share them with your family. You can't do anything until the whole case is solved. And even after the case is solved, you get told you can't talk about this, you can't mention this, you can't say this. So you're still in your head, and you need someone to just let it out. You need to speak out.
Yeah.
Very, very hard thing, dude. You know, I've got a lot of my mates and some of my family members saying they were jealous of me because they won't be on the jury and stuff, and I wouldn't do it again. There's no way. I
think some people, it's, you know what, in the old days where there'd be a hanging or something, and you have the old women sitting there with the knitting. I think some people think that's what it is. You just sat there watching someone's demise. And it isn't like that at all, is it?
No way.
I'm not gonna bid. So you see, like when you went through your thing, came time to decide whether guilty or not guilty.
Yeah.
How hard was that for you?
Well, this is going to be difficult, you know, because I can't really go out and say, you know, boof. I won't tell you, but no, it was hard. I was kind of set on my decision that this person was guilty. And then I remember having an argument with this woman in the jury room, full blown argument with this woman, because she was basically just saying that I was wrong, and I was listening to the opinion that she was giving, and I understood it. I was quite calm, but then she started kind of belittling what I was saying. So do you know what I did? You know what I did? I stayed calm. I got up. I got the TV remote, put the TV on, put the police body cam on, and I went through from the first stage to the end, and she changed her mind. She changed her mind. Yeah.
That's what you have to do, isn't it?
Yeah. It was a long time. It was a long time, because at the end of the day, someone else's life's in your hands. You know, they go in prison. Obviously, that person would have had a family behind him, might have had kids behind him. You don't know these things, and that's what runs through your head. So it is difficult, but yeah, it was hard, mate. It was definitely hard, and I wouldn't do it again. No way, not a chance. I mean, how would you feel, Monty, if you were on the jury duty and you got given a case, right?
I don't think knowing what I've been through, myself, I'd ever want to do it.
Yeah.
Because my whole time was, every day I was going into court and then going home, I was saying to myself, I'm innocent, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It don't matter. My life is in someone else's hands.
How hard was that for you, though, knowing that your life was in 12 people's hands?
How hard was it, bro?
Yeah.
I wouldn't eat. I wouldn't do anything. I became aggressive towards my family.
Yeah.
I started hating literally the females that I had close to my family, which was, say, like my mom and my missus at the time.
Yeah.
Like, I just started seeing them with different eyes. And I just sort of, for that period of time, I lost the love I had for them, because I was going through that stage in my life because of a female. And then knowing that I was innocent, but then I could potentially be going to prison because of a female and a lie. But then knowing that my life was in those people's hands, it was just me was going to take out all that anger and stress and like everything I was going through. Those people taking out then on the people that I loved and that loved me. So it was horrible. It was literally horrible. So if you ask me, would I ever want to experience what you experienced, I'll say no. Because I wouldn't want to put someone else's life behind bars, or like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to do it, man.
You're going to get a pink letter tomorrow.
No, mate.
Monday morning.
Also, as well, the fact that you're here and you were found not guilty shows that the courts do work as well.
Yeah.
Because those 12 people did come to the right decision.
But it was horrible. Yeah. What happened was in my case, my cousin and my friend who were all involved in it, they got found not guilty straight away. And it's me thinking, what about me? Like, because it was done at same trial but different cases.
Yeah.
And then they got found not guilty, and then all of a sudden, they're like, Chris, we don't know about you. I was like, huh? I said, what's gonna happen with me then? And then all that stress, then my anxiety, everything just built up even more. My cousin, my friend, was found not guilty, and then there's me here. And I started watching then prison videos, watching all. I started preparing myself mentally, thinking I'm going in, I'm done. And then I had to go in. I think it was a week later, and then the officer that I was dealing with a case approached me and basically said, "Look, we're sorry to have put you through all of this, but we don't know why she basically done that, but obviously with the evidence and the interviews, obviously you guys things didn't really match. Her thing didn't match either to what she was saying happened. Nothing made sense basically, because me, my cousin, my friends never been involved in the police, but we were scared. So we were saying, so in my case, when they asked me like, do you want a solicitor? I thought by saying yes, I'm immediately guilty.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So I said, no, I don't need one because I'm not guilty. So I started saying things that I shouldn't have said, basically, or came across the way that I shouldn't have come across. But I was just being open and honest.
Yeah.
Maybe me being too open and too honest got me in trouble to an extent. And, mate, it was just horrible. It was the worst experience of my life, man. But I think, even though it was horrible to like my mom, missus, yeah, but I thank them because they still stuck by me, still supported me, and were the only two people that sort of believed in me in that time. Otherwise, I would have been brown breaded, man. I would have been dead or something, because I had suicidal thoughts and I tried to do the damn, like, take my life and sort of all of that. But thankfully I didn't, and I got found. And I faced sort of like, not faced the consequences, but I was strong enough, even though all the things that were going through my head, to stand the trial and believe in myself, and always held hope and faith that things were going to come out the other side and the right decision was going to be made in the end.
Yeah.
But it was hard.
Why do you think people are scared of the police? Like, in the matter of, let's ringing them. Okay, because the work that Men Unite do, if someone's life's in danger through suicide, 999, and the police are called.
Yeah.
But from speaking to some of the admin and moderators on the page, they've all told me that they're scared of ringing 999.
I don't know. I mean, it might be the case that if you've never ever had any involvement with police or police officers,
yeah,
like I said earlier, there's this misconception that we're either, we're all racist, we're all sexist, we're all homophobic, we're all this,
yeah,
or we're all meatheads that like going to a pub fight,
meathead,
or the other thing is, well, I don't want to waste their time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste the police's time with this.
Yeah.
So I think or you might have had a negative experience with the police, and it only takes one negative experience. If you only ever have any one experience of the police and it's negative,
yeah,
that then sort of stains your thought of policing for the rest of your life, or until we can change it. But like I said again, we are all human.
Yeah.
So I would never ever say don't ring the police, and there isn't any. I understand people might feel a bit of apprehension about being in contact with police or police officers, but there is really no need.
Yeah,
there really is no need. We go through exactly the same things as members of the public do, because we are members of the public.
Yeah.
So if it is that you've got somebody in distress or someone needs help, ring 999, because that's what we're there for, to help.
I think police, obviously from my past experiences, I got treated very good. Like, even though my case was as high profile, for example, got treated very good, and experiences as well, like you said, is so important. But then not everyone's the same as well, so they could have a bad experience, and that's what we as humans, we tend to struggle with life sometimes. Just because one thing was a bad experience, we don't think we can't try that again because it's gonna get the same outcome. So like with the police, if you had a bad experience with police, obviously not every police officer is the same, but you do get some police officers that, I ain't gonna lie, are not great. But that's with everything.
No,
you get some footballers, you get some electricians that ain't great.
Hey, yo.
No, I'm not saying, hey, come on, my friend. My friend.
Yes.
I'm not saying you're, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But just because you've had a bad electrician, you're gonna be like, I'm not calling that out of a company.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
You had a player like myself or a bad footballer or anything. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting out of a player. So it's about being open-minded.
Yeah.
I was
sorry, go on.
Go on, mate. Go on. Carry on.
I think as well, people dependent on, they have like a perception of what they think we will react to the situation like. So I think certain perhaps crimes and offences or issues they don't contact us because they think, well, they won't do anything about that anyway, or like I say, it's a waste of time, so I don't want to waste the police time. But I can't say it firmly enough that you should always contact us if it is that you need help. Ring 999.
Yeah, definitely. So I've the first time I had to ring the police over a guy being suicidal, I was pretty nervous because, like you say, I thought I was wasting police time. I thought it was a matter that the police wouldn't get involved in, because it wasn't to my knowledge that the police do pretty much everything, right?
Yeah, we do, yeah.
Pretty much everything. So I felt guilty ringing 999, like you say, because of wasting that phone call. So, but I did it, and I rang them, and then I went up to the guy's house straight after I'd rang him, because I had to ring an ambulance and the police from what he was telling me and what the pictures he was sending us, and having go up there and witness it and how they handled the situation was just absolutely amazing. Like, so calm. Like, there was no like abruption and, you know, treating him like shit. It was just dead calm and like dead nurturing.
And the thing about that is, I certainly have never received any training on how to deal with people who are in mental distress or in a mental crisis.
Yeah.
So all that you saw came from within that police officer.
Yeah.
And his or her own experiences.
Yeah, definitely. And it was like rapid. The response was so quick.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask you that as well, but you've answered it. Like, when you respond to a call, like what Vids was saying, do then they choose which police officer gets sent out, or they just choose whichever one's available?
It's who's available and who's the closest.
Yeah, that's mad. It's good though. But imagine if you get sent to, like you just said, if you have never experienced such a thing, how do you then try and get into this individual's mind? And how do you talk them out of doing what they're about to do? That is, in my case, if I was to be called up, obviously I know what to say, but when someone is so deep into, already committed to doing such a thing, how do you then, at that moment in time, you sort of convince them and reassure them that they matter and they are loved, they're valued, and they're cared for? How do you reassure them that as a police officer?
I don't think it's a matter of convincing them, but I think the reassurance is more important, because for those, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, perhaps even longer, that you're with them and they're at the height of their mental crisis, they do matter. And the fact that I or any other police officer or paramedic has sat with them shows that they matter, because you've got 2, 3, 4 professionals all around you who are there to help you. So you do matter. And I think whether you've suffered from a sort of psychological illness like I have, or whether you haven't, to some degree, everybody's been upset, everybody's been hurt, let down, dumped, skint, whatever. So you can apply your life experience to those situations. It just depends on sort of to what degree you've been through yourself, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So it
You
must
might
be...
have a police officer that's as happy as Larry, never really had any mental health issues or anything, but like I said, at one point they will have been through something that was a challenge, so they can use that experience to help that other person.
Yeah, we've said it before, haven't we, Monty? Lived experiences better than any degree you can get at university by a mile.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
The beauty of the Men Unite group is it's not mental health professionals, it's peer to peer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and that is really what we do at work.
Yeah.
We aren't mental health professionals as police officers.
No.
You know, peer to peer, we can go and help somebody.
I think that's the most important thing as well. Like, lived experiences go a long way.
Yeah.
Especially if it's someone who is willing, like ourselves, and there's many people out there as well that are willing to use their experiences to help other individuals overcome their own experiences. And that goes such a long way, because you can never say it's the same feeling or it's the same situation, because no one goes through the same situation.
No.
You might experience something similar, and you might overcome something that could be relatable to the person you're helping.
Yeah.
But the feelings could never be the same. But as long as you have experienced something as hard as that, you can help anyone. And if you have suffered or you've gone through any hardship or whatever you want to call it, I think it's so important to try and use that to help anyone out there.
And I think as well, a lot of the time, it's just sitting there almost being quiet and just listening, because sometimes people just want to be heard.
Yeah.
Because they probably feel like, for whatever reason, and for however long, they've just been ignored and overlooked.
Yeah.
Whereas, so sometimes it is nice to just have someone to talk to, whether it be face to face, whether it be on the phone or a message or whatever. And that's really kind of what we do. We go, make sure they're okay, listen to them until the NHS can take over.
Yeah.
The mental health professionals.
Yeah. So there was some good news last week where we've actually got a partnership with Staffordshire Police now, Men Unite.
Yeah.
So we're going to be working alongside the police. There's a lot more of that to come. So hopefully, big things, better mental health situations as well. Because because you think about, I bet there's, I don't know the percentage of phone calls 999 get around our area for mental health situations, but I bet it's high.
Yeah, I mean, they have specific cars now, double crewed cars with a mental health or a nurse or something like that.
Yeah,
crewed up with police officers, and that's all they do is go and respond to sort of mental health crisis calls.
Yeah,
it is a big I think in general mental health's a massive problem, and I don't know whether it's because of things like this where people are open about it or talking more about it.
Yeah,
people feel like they can open up and then contact the police or the ambulance service.
Yeah,
or whether life is a lot more stressful now. Do you know what I mean? I don't know whether it's always been there. I think it's more open now. Yeah,
I think a lot of people, especially like our era and around our age groups, we haven't been speaking about his problems. We've kept them in for so many years, and all of a sudden, someone's come along and said, "It's all right. It's okay to speak."
Yeah.
So then you've like that pop bottle. As soon as you start opening that lid,
Yeah.
boof.
Yeah.
And
Bruise, man.
yeah, and I think, yeah, it's good to talk, but
Yeah.
it's even better to talk in a professional setting.
Yeah.
I'd say, because you let loose on some emotions that you've held in for 20 or 30 years. You don't know what could happen. You don't know what that's going to trigger.
I think that's what's needed the most. I know we're raising awareness and we're making it more normal, especially as men. Obviously, we're females. Obviously, you get some females that do bottle it as well, but they find it more easy to speak. But with men, because we've been brought up in a different way, but now we're making it more normal, and which it is normal. It should have been normal from years. But what is needed is needed more in a professional environment where you can come into work. Well, I'm not saying like using it as an excuse not to work, but you can go into work and be like, lads, I feel down today, or girls, I feel down today because of this, and that. Rather than, I can't tell my bosses how I'm feeling because they won't listen. They're not going to pay attention to me. They're going to tell me to get up and man up and grow up and get on with it. And that is what needs to be changed. We can make it normal, and we can talk about it away from the work environment. But then it's how you can then take into the professional environment where you can make it actually easy and make it a conversation that you can have with your bosses, with your colleagues, and be like, you know what, I don't feel good today, man, because of this and that. I don't feel great today. And be able to be listened to and be able to have the conversation with someone. And then if you get to the point where you can't work because you're mentally drained or physically or your emotions are all over the fucking place, is be allowed time off. You know what? This is it. Because don't get me wrong, as much as we do it, mental health is still overlooked.
Oh God, yeah, massively.
And massively where I'm going to stop, man. Because
it is, and I think, funnily enough, I have to see a psychologist once a week because I have PTSD. And we had the last session I had with her on Wednesday. We discussed about the parity between physical injury and health and psychological injury and health, and how differently the two were treated or talked about. And Monty, you just used the phrase about man up, and I think you have to be so careful of the language that people use surrounding mental health. Man up is one of the worst. That I'm a man. I can't become any more of a man. It's an utterly pointless saying. It means nothing. What do they want me to do? Sort of grow bigger muscles or something?
Grow an extra penis.
Grow an extra penis. It means nothing, does it, man up?
No.
I've heard it at work. Man up, princess. You don't need someone hold your hand. Man up, princess.
Yeah.
We've had that conversation plenty of times with bids as well about that word, and we've gone on and we've had rants about it because we hate it. Don't we, Bid?
Yeah.
We hate that.
Yeah. And another phrase that I hear, Andy's gone webble. I haven't gone webble. I've just had a sort of psychiatric breakdown. I haven't gone webble. You know, I haven't gone walking around the office with a pencil at my nose and my pants on my head. I've got a psychological injury that's diagnosed.
Yeah.
And a mate of mine at work fell off his motorbike and broke his arm. And the police federation gave him a bottle of whiskey, which was because he'd had an overnight stay in hospital, and that's their policy. Brilliant. I had naff all, and I was off sick for 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
you can't see my injury and you can't see my scars. It doesn't mean they're not there.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I constantly try to talk about at work, is the huge gulf in the way the two are treated, but they're all injuries and they're all illnesses. It isn't just that you're having a shit day
Yeah.
because you're a bit knackered. It's that it's that you've woken up disappointed that you've woken up.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I'm honest, and probably Bids and even you, Andy, would agree with what I'm saying, but I think it's totally bullshit with the way they see both physical and emotional and mental health. I think both of them, or all of those things, should be either treated equally, or the mental one should be treated higher than the physical one.
Yeah.
I believe that. Or what do you guys reckon?
No, you're right. I mean, you can break. God, when I was at primary school, I slipped over on the ice and broke my wrist. It's probably 30 odd years ago now. And on occasions in the winter, I still get a twinge of pain every now and then. Well, 20 years ago, I lost my mum, and I still get those twinges of pain. Up here, it's just that for whatever reason, people think that this is a lot less important than this.
It's more.
Do you know what I mean? But to me, it's exactly the same.
I think this is more powerful than anything.
Oh, yeah.
Your mind, you can move your fingers or your body, whatever, because of your mind. Because of what person about it, like up here.
Yeah.
And to think that this is less important than this. I'm not saying breaking your arm or hurting yourself physically is not important. It is. Obviously, you need to be taken care of. And if someone is suffering, or you can see someone is not right, you've got to treat them as if they've just broken the whole body.
Yeah. But I wonder though as well whether it's because people don't know what to say to, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't think people know how to approach you, how to. I mean, I was very lucky really, because the people closest to me at work would come and visit me when I was off sick.
Yeah.
But sort of none of the bosses did make any, they didn't make any contact with me. And I wonder whether it is because at a management level or wherever, they kind of don't know how to approach you. They don't know what to say. They don't know what language to use in case they offend you. But it's an injury. An injury is an injury. It makes no difference whether it's your brain or, like you say, your arm.
Yeah. See, I've got mates that get quite uncomfortable when I start talking about like mental health and like the issues I've had, and you can tell in the body language they get a bit irritable, and you can just tell that they haven't got the words. They do care, but they just don't know how to approach it. So
because that's probably a social thing, isn't it? It's a society thing. It isn't them as individuals.
Yeah. And
at school we were never. We went to the same school.
Yeah.
We were never taught about mental health.
No
Whether
way.
it's changed now, I don't know. But certainly when I was at school at Clough Hall in the 90s, it was never ever. Mental health was never discussed because it was kind of, he's just a bit stressed.
Yeah. Or he's just a naughty kid.
Yeah.
That's what I got. Just a naughty kid.
Yeah.
I wasn't naughty. I was just mischievable, a bit of mischief now and again. So, but to be fair, there was a certain maths teacher. You might remember this woman.
Yeah.
I know
who you're going to say.
Yeah. I'm not going to say a name. Wow.
Good or bad?
Bad. She used to fucking hate me, and I didn't even have it for maths. So I started rebelling against her. Yeah, big time. So I'd walk past the classroom with the windows.
Yeah.
And you know the lift that you do where you push and then you duck down.
Yeah.
Used to do that. Used to do the stairs. I used to knock on the window and then walk down the stairs. Every time I walked past their class, I had to do something.
It's funny, you know, because I was in Marks and Spencer's one Christmas getting a birthday present.
Yeah.
And I'm walking through and I turn round and she's there.
Oh my God.
And I must have been like a 30-odd-year-old policeman, a grown man. And straight away, I was an 11-year-old kid. So I just shit myself because she was there. She looked exactly the same.
Wow.
Was she that bad that she put that much fear into you?
Oh,
was a bully.
She was
a bully,
nightmare. Yeah. Nightmare. And I remember year 11, my last day at school, I did something to a car, right?
To her car?
Yeah. Yeah. I went down to the art rooms.
We've got a police officer here, you know.
Yeah. I'll take these out.
I went down to the art rooms, got some like ball of cotton and fluff with different colours, and I stuck it to a car wheels, all around the car wheels.
Oh man!
Last day of my school day was like the teachers that I loved and enjoyed being with. You know, I loved them. Good. I had a certain English teacher that I really liked, got on with. There was a certain engineer teacher that I got on with, but didn't really go to these classes. I just used to go across the park and play football instead. But the maths teachers, for some reason, were absolute arseholes. I don't know if you can remember a certain science teacher, quite a small dude.
Yeah.
I love that.
What school is this?
I love that guy.
What school did this teacher go to? Like, where did you work?
It's been knocked down now, mate.
Which school?
Anymore?
Clough Hall, it was.
It's the King's College now.
Yeah, it's the King. It's the Church of England now.
Oh man,
it belongs to the Church of England. But school days, mate, I didn't do much work. I enjoyed them, but I wished I'd put my head down a bit more and got on with my work.
Yeah.
But at the time, the teachers that were there just basically couldn't control me.
Do you think that takes a big part as well in education of like kids, teachers? Like obviously, if you get teachers like that, you get kids that probably don't even want to go into college or schools and do their best.
Well, after I left high school, because I had that many bad experiences with teachers, I went to college, and I lasted about 4 weeks.
Why you just couldn't do it?
I just couldn't act being in a classroom with teachers, and then I ended up getting an apprenticeship. But there was a certain music teacher as well at Clough Hall who was an absolute bitch, and she's full on me, honest to God. Honestly, nightmare. Absolute
well, I did
nightmare.
music with her, so she was all right with me.
Nah, not with me, mate. Not with me. See, it's these little mental scars. That that, you know what I mean, that affect you throughout your life as you continue it. So college for me didn't work out. I tried I went sixth form college, lasted about a week because I was at the same. It was at the same high school that like, I'm not sticking around here. Went college, couldn't do it. So I just went straight into an apprenticeship. Started working from 16.
It goes back to what we've been talking about how important this is. It affects. Go back to what Andy said, so much experience in the police, a grown man, left school, God knows how long ago,
Yeah.
bumped into a teacher, and then boom, all of a sudden, he was just sort of like panicking, and it's due to the scars up here.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is a police officer who has got so much control. Obviously, someone else wouldn't even see it like that. You just forgot about who you was or what you've lived. But for what she installed up here and what she made you go through,
Yeah.
and then kids, like all of a sudden, like, no, I can't deal with it. Like, you're right,
Yeah.
miss. Miss, like it needs to be taken care of a bit more.
Yeah. Definitely.
Dan grew up, I think he was 4 doors down the street from me. And we kind of grew up in this. It wasn't this, the suburbs of the 1980s and 1990s where no one was different.
No.
Mental health, stuff like that, and difference wasn't celebrated. And you know, I remember being at school constantly being confused. I'm a gay man, being confused about my sexuality.
Yeah.
Couldn't talk to anybody about it because you'd got teachers like that who were vile.
Yeah.
You've got no or very, very few role models really, to sort of talk to or be open and honest with.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of kids, regardless of sort of your background or where you were in your mind, it was a really tough time because, like you say, Dan, there was nothing there to support you and the way you felt and the way you behaved at the time. But even though I might have been classed as one of the swotty kids, I still felt as though I never fitted in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that stays with you. That does.
Yeah.
Well, it certainly
definitely
did me.
Yeah, it definitely does.
You know, this feeling that
Same,
I've
my
got
mum.
no one like me.
Yeah, say my mum pulled my old school reports out the other day. I haven't seen them. I haven't read them. Don't need to. But like they're all the same. Like they're all every year is the same. Nothing had changed.
Yeah.
There's no progression in your behaviour. You know, there's no improvement there. You know, I was still getting detentions. You know, I was still sitting in inclusion, just looking at a fucking plain wall with a piece of paper and a textbook that you had to copy out. So, yeah.
And you sort of think, well, what did those teachers do to try and change it?
Yeah, they just stuck me in a fucking room. That's it. Just get these kids out of the equation.
Yeah.
That's it. And to be fair, I used to love English. I loved history. Yeah, I love music. Like the passion I had for music was massive. You know, I played the drums, guitar. I was in bands, so music was like one of the main subjects for me. So that's where I wanted. That's what I wanted a career in, but it didn't work out. So when I was at high school, I was thinking, well, what's the fucking point in trying? And we did have a head of year who was pretty good. Anytime I wanted bolt out of class because teacher was being an absolute twat to me. I mean, I'll give you an example now. Right? I was the only person to do my own work. Everybody else in the class didn't do their own work. My own work was wrong. I got a 30-minute detention for doing my own work wrong, and no one else in the class got detention who didn't even do the fucking own work.
How does that make sense?
Exactly. So for a teenage lad thinking I've done my own work and I've just got detention because it was wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. My chair went straight across the fucking room and I just went out. Couldn't just, I think I did the right thing by getting out the room. I probably shouldn't have thrown my chair across the room. But I think that anger towards high school was just, it was quite high. And I think it still is. It still is. I still get pissed off talking about it.
And they like, that's your foundation for your adult life.
Yeah.
If its foundation isn't strong,
Yeah.
anything you build on it,
Yeah.
as weakened.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy,
That's
crazy.
it.
So that's why it is important, and it perhaps is different in schools now. And they probably do talk more about, mental health and different types of families and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is only a good thing.
Yeah. I know from having kids of my own, their primary schools are pretty good with mental health now.
Yeah.
And one of my old primary school teachers is now a head teacher at a primary school. And she rang me a few months ago because I think I put something out there on my socials about, mental health needs to be spoken more about in primary schools. And she rang me and she explained what their school does, and it was amazing. Like they've got a separate team, like a separate unit in the school that deals with mental health, and that's it. That's all they do. So if a teacher comes to him and says, "I'm a bit concerned about this child," they'll pull him out and they'll have a chat with him and get down to the bottom of it. I think it's amazing. So it is getting better.
Yeah,
it is getting a lot better. But I think there's still a lot more that society needs to do, big time.
Yeah.
So,
but then things like this group are a massive aid to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. And I think
especially for men my age and above.
Yeah. 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 It's that era, isn't it? It's that era that we've grown up in.
Yeah.
Like you explained it earlier, that 80s, 90s time where there was a lot of judgment and you felt like you needed to just hide them emotions and just crack on with things, so they say. Just crack on, mate. Just crack on.
Yeah.
It's like back in those times, you were just teaching adults how to bottle things. Because we've discussed it before, kids, like kids are kids, but in the end, we're not raising kids, we're raising adults, and you're teaching them how to bottle things down from a young age. And then it's not good. You need to teach them how to be open and how to just be honest with their feelings. And because I'm sure you guys have had it. I think we all have had it when you was a kid and you cried, and then all of a sudden, only girls cry, or only this, and things like that. All of a sudden, I can't cry. If I'm crying, I've got to hide. I've got to hide. If I'm hurt, I've got to hide. If I'm really moaning, I've got to be like, so they don't hear me.
Yeah.
You're preparing adults to bottle everything up. You're preparing them to just suffer on that quietly, like especially like a man.
Yeah.
And it's interesting you say that, because now I really struggle to cry. Probably now you've said that because of people saying stuff like that. So you almost spend your entire time being emotionally numb.
Yeah. I don't cry. I do cry, but I find it hard to, like you do, Andy. I find it really hard to cry. Doesn't mean I don't care, but for the past since I've started opening up more about me issues and helping other people, I have felt that my I'd say emotional intelligence has got a lot better.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the other day I was in the bath and I was just flicking through TikTok videos, and this really sad one come up. I just started fucking crying. Just started crying.
I cry quite like. If I go to cry now, I'll cry, man.
Can you turn it on?
Like it will get to a point where my emotions will get on top of me. Like I'll get so stressed out, and I'm thinking about so many things, and everything's happening so quick.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where it just hit me, and then I just freeze, and then I start crying.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's what happened with me. It's the last job I went to before I went sick was a fatal, and I remember standing it wasn't even a gruesome fatal. It was an old chap, and I think he had some sort of medical episode at the wheel and died.
Oh no.
So there wasn't a spot of blood or anything.
Yeah.
But I remember kind of standing in the middle of this scene with my camera tripod, taking randomly rubbish photos.
Yeah.
And thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. I'd completely sort of frozen, and my mind had completely shut down. And the lad who I was with, we've never spoken about it actually, and whether he could see that something was going wrong.
Yeah.
He just sort of came up to me and took the camera off me. He didn't say anything, carried on taking photos. But my mind, I think, had just completely gone. It had just shut down. It's the only way I can describe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was your family react to that? Like your husband, and obviously you got a kid as well.
Yeah.
So how was family life being after that? Did you find it difficult being around them, or?
No, oddly, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
Because you're a lot. Well, I'm certainly more open now.
Yeah.
And kind of weirdly, I wouldn't change any of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm glad I can't. I'm glad I went through it. Some of the stuff that happened over the years, especially I suppose around the loss of my mum.
Yeah.
I wish never happened. But I kind of wouldn't be where I am or what I am now without any of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Monty, you've said it before. We grow with pain, don't we?
Yeah, through pain we grow, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was talking to somebody on the Man United webpage.
Yeah.
And kind of said everything that's kind of gone wrong over the years, it's the building blocks that have made me what I am now.
Yeah.
Which sounds cheesy, I know, but it's true at the same time.
No, it is true. It is true. It is true, because I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now with all the mental health side if I hadn't been through what I've been through. So everyone's experiences, they count for a lot.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say it's building that resilience. It's more of building your personality. That's what it's doing.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's built. Come over, brother. No. Yeah, it's just building your personality and who you are. And
in a way, I think I'm a much better person for it, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm more empathetic, especially with, some of the stuff we deal with at work. If I'm talking to a bereaved family. Yeah. Albeit the bereavements have been in completely different ways.
Yeah.
I can say, well, I kind of know what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Mental health jobs. I can say, I know.
Yeah.
Because I'm there myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think I'm so much more an open person now than I ever was.
Yeah.
Probably a lot of it because of all of this.
Yeah.
And as you get older, you learn more, don't you, as you go on in life? But
yeah, become a bit more wiser.
Yeah.
And I think it's what you're scared of what people are going to think of you as well.
Yeah.
I think.
I spent my entire life up until probably 30 odd.
Yeah.
Worried about what other people think.
Yeah.
To the point, where even when I was getting married 7 years ago, I kind of wasn't looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Because
oh
God, people will see two blokes getting married. What will they think?
And
this weird paranoia in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But then I thought, well, everyone we've invited is our family and friends anyway, so they they don't see that. They just see two people getting married.
Yeah, they see the happiness, don't they? And
yeah, whereas I couldn't, because I'd almost been pre-programmed to think, shit, I've got to hide this. I've got to,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
Especially in the police. You know, when I first joined the police, it was, you know, it wasn't the done thing.
yeah. I suppose it's like the police and the military. People look at them. I would say they're organisations, but it's very, what's the word? Very very powerful. You know, you got
Yeah.
very strong.
Yeah.
Very, like they say, very manly environments and stuff like that. But it's not.
No.
Or every individual is different.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine football is where policing was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, where are your openly gay football players?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah.
And I don't, that it's a very male environment, football is, but so is rugby. But you've got openly gay rugby players.
Yeah.
Policing is, but we've now got openly gay police officers at all ranks.
Yeah.
And it's interesting that football sort of lags behind, and I don't know why.
But football, lads, behind, and I would say in a lot of departments, man. Obviously, things are getting better. They're doing things slowly, but it's in every department. It's just, I think it's so behind. I don't care what anyone tells me. You can talk about, obviously, what you just said about being openly gay. When it comes to that abuse, when it comes to like all this racism stuff, and like there are things they stand up for in football sometimes makes no sense.
Mm.
Like when the European thing was about to happen.
Yeah.
Did you see what cases that would happen, how they managed to stop it?
Yeah.
Then other cases, like it's just so wrong and so weird that someone, because I bet in football there is people who are like who are gay.
Oh,
but
definitely,
for
mate.
themselves, for the mental state, sometimes they're not open until they retire.
Yeah.
And I've known a few people I played with that they would stop playing football or they wait until the retirement to be able to just be free.
Mm.
And it's upsetting because, and then it comes a lot with just the opposite, like the fans. Fans, oh my goodness, the fans in football are just ruthless. So a lot of players probably who are gay would love to come out, would love to speak, but then it's that, what are they gonna say when I'm playing football? What chance I'm gonna get and things like that. And I think it's so upsetting and it's unfair. Like I know I could relate to an extent with what you're saying about you, Andy, because my cousin is gay as well, and he put a front in front of the family to me when I used to speak to him about normal things because I didn't know he was gay. So I'm there speaking to him about normal things, and he's putting this front and hiding his emotion. And I'm like, okay, so all the time I'm thinking, yeah, he's just like me, straight. He likes his. Obviously, I'm not saying gay people ain't straight, but they're straight in their own way.
Yeah.
And so when he got to the point where he opened up, and I'm thinking, and I even asked him, have you had this feeling, this emotion throughout your whole life? And he was like, yes, since I was a kid. And I was like, so why have you just front and you've never been open with me? Like we chill so much when we do a lot of things together, and you've never been so open. Like, and it was just because of family, because of friends, and I was just like, because of what he did as a job. And I think oh man, yeah, a lot of this
Game
topic,
into, you know, it's 2021 and people feel like they can't be their authentic self still.
It's mad.
Yeah.
Mad,
It is
man.
mad. It is mad. And
it's getting better, but
yeah, it's
Slowly.
definitely getting.
and I think
better.
in football, you've got to have that one sort of pioneer that comes out and
But it's happened before in the past, hasn't it?
Justin Fashanu.
No, I think that before it's happened where someone's come out and he didn't go well. He didn't end well. So imagine if whoever is like that in football and wants to come out, then he could be having flashbacks from whatever happened to the individuals that did came out, or whoever did come out, or whatever level they were playing at, and what was the outcome.
Yeah.
That will be playing in someone's mind.
Yeah.
Because I see it obviously, like when you're watching football and that, and in like the women's football, and how open they are in their sport, and you get some of them in relationships with other females, and how open they are with their relationship on social media, and how well he's respected and how well he's taken. So imagine a guy playing football comes out and says that, and he's putting a picture of his partner. The amount of memes and abuse this individual's going to get,
yeah,
I think it's fair.
I think it'll only take one really, really high-profile football player to crack it, though.
To do it.
Yeah.
You'll have to be a high-profile player.
Yeah, Ronaldo.
Imagine.
Yeah. Someone at that kind of stature, I think, would crack it. But we'll see. We'll see what brings. See what comes about.
Yeah.
Never know what's going to happen. It might happen tomorrow. A really high-profile footballer comes out with the big news tomorrow.
The fact that you have to come out.
Yeah.
The fact that you can just be yourself.
Yeah,
Did you come out as a straight man?
I come out as me.
Hi, I'm straight.
I come out.
You don't pronounce yourself.
I come out as me.
Exactly.
Whatever me is. But I think it's society, isn't it? Society's put words in how they word things. It's like he's come out gay.
No, the press.
Yeah.
It's interesting in the press as well, because if you read an article about, I was reading one in the Daily Mail about George Michael's will and how his ex-partner is being given a certain percentage of his will. And it wasn't written as his ex-partner or his partner or whatever. It was his gay lover.
Gay lover, yeah, I remember. Yeah.
No, it's his partner.
Yeah. So it's all about language and the language that we use.
Yeah.
And that's what it all comes down to.
Yeah, it's still happening now, because you look at all the social media sites. You know, you've got young kids calling each other gay on there.
Yeah.
It happens, man. It happens. Oh, you're gay, or you're a lesbian. These young 8-year-old, 10-year-old kids, and most of them probably don't even know what it means.
No.
Until they get to a stage in their life when they understand what it means, and then imagine they grow up to be that person who they were abusing, for example.
Yeah.
And then what then? That's why I think, and we've said it before, a lot of these things obviously it stems from society, our majority obviously our own households.
Yeah.
That's where it stems from, and that's where the conversations have got to be comfortable. The conversations have got to be open. The conversations have got to be honest. And that's why, like me or Mrs. with the little lad, we are so open with him. He's only 4 years old, and he knows the right name for every part of his body. He knows everything.
Yeah.
Not this butterfly, this twinkle, this. No, this is it. This is what. This is that. This is it. And it's the way I think you have to be moving forward, because at least they'll understand things. If something like something's going wrong, at least he knows. He ain't gonna come home and say, "Oh, so and so was playing my butterfly, or with my twinkle, or with my Pete, or with my whatever." It's then from home. You have to be open and have the conversations with your kids, man, where you tell them, you don't force them to be someone you want them to be. You let them be what they want to be, and make them feel comfortable with them coming to you and tell you, daddy, mommy, whatever, nanny, granddad, I like this, I like that.
Yeah.
I prefer this, I prefer that, rather than, no, you gotta be that, you gotta be this, you gotta do that. No, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah. I remember having, when my first child was due to be born, one of my mates said, what if she turns gay? He said this to me. We're in the pub. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, well, what would you do if she turned gay, if she brought a girlfriend home? I'm like, well, what would you do?
Yeah.
He's like, it's if that's what happens, you know, that's their choice. I'm not here to judge anyone on the sexuality.
No.
You know, I was like, what kind of question's that? And to be fair, I've not heard of him for a while. I haven't, but it's stuff like that. I watched the debate. Actually, I didn't watch it. I was listening to a debate on a podcast. Basically, they have people phoning in on these debates, and one guy said, basically, the question was I born gay, or did I turn gay? Basically, so it's, are you born gay?
I think it could be both, you know. Obviously,
I was just born.
Yeah, you're just born, I think, and then I think from experiences and what you see and how you grow up, I think then you make a decision based on what you see and how your feelings are.
It's like I find.
I don't think you make a decision. It's just
no.
Just how
to
you're
me,
born,
it's as natural as breathing.
Yeah. Just happens. Like when you're at a certain age and you start either getting attracted to women or male or both, that's down to the person's needs, isn't it? Really, that's what I needed.
It's just, I think it just goes back, obviously, to what we do as humans anyway. Like, we're not, you wasn't born an electrician, you wasn't born a police officer, I wasn't born a footballer or playing football.
No.
So it's just, like you just said, as you grow up, you're attracted to this, or you're attracted to that, or both, or you're happy. But then again, that conversation is got to be made from when you're a kid, and making sure you make your kids feel comfortable with themselves.
Yeah, it's like
my son's nearly 6.
Yeah,
we adopted him when he was 3.
Yeah,
and he'll grow up, because I think throughout the time that we've had him, we've kind of thought, oh God, what, you know, we've got to tell him he's adopted at some point. We've got to do this. We've got to do that.
Yeah.
But actually, it's kind of organically developed.
Oh, right. Okay.
He knows he didn't live with us straight away. He knows he's got 2 dads, whereas some people have a mum and dad, and some people just have a mum or whatever. And I think his generation of kids, because we're very open with him, his generation of kids will not have any issues with any of this sort of stuff, I don't think, because our generation of parents are a lot different than our parents were.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not to be derogatory to our mums and dads.
No,
it's
no. Just
how time we're living in, isn't it?
Yeah, it was just how it was. I mean, you look back to my nana and granddad, like the real old traditional ways were just absolutely hardcore, man.
Yeah.
Hardcore. Like, I wouldn't dream of chatting back to my granddad or nan. No way. No way. But nowadays it's changing.
Yeah.
Gradually. It's like if I was in primary school and one of my mates had 2 mums or 2 dads, I think at the time I'd be confused. Like, I'd 100% be thinking, why has he got 2 dads, or why has he got 2 mums? Because there's no education around it. There's no knowledge at all around it.
No.
So like you say, I do think like with my girls, they are very open with them. Because kids these days, some are vile kids. Like the things that they can be said in schools are absolutely vile.
Yeah.
And I've been traveling back from a school run, and my daughter's gone, such and such has said I'm bisexual. I'm like, okay, do you know what that means? And she's like, not really, no. So I've explained to her, or such and such says I'm a lesbian. But I know what a lesbian is. I was like, okay, then what's a lesbian? Then we have just a conversation, man. I don't feel awkward. I don't feel awkward having that conversation. Why should I? I think back when I was a kid, yeah, I might have been awkward because there was absolutely no knowledge or nothing was spoken. But I think is it the LGBT community now?
Yeah,
has grown, and they do some amazing things. But you're always going to have the dickheads. Let's face it.
Yeah.
There's always going to be them absolute arseholes at these parades that get put on who just are absolute horrible. It's always going to happen.
But you know, I mean, I was reading in the paper, like the Sentinel, the local paper online. There was a male in distress at the top of a building recently, and some of the comments that people were making about him, and you sort of think you don't know the first thing about him.
No, I don't follow
you know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah, I don't follow that shit anymore. I can't. There's too many people that have such a negative, and they think they're being all jokey with stuff when really, no.
Yeah.
Comments aren't needed, man. Big time.
You know, one of the sad parts of our job is we do get involved with suicides involving vehicles.
Yeah.
Whether the person's taken the seatbelt off and driven into a tree or jumped in front of a lorry or whatever.
Yeah.
And some of the comments you hear people saying surrounding that incident, you know, you sort of think you don't know what that person was thinking or going through at that split second where they made that decision.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it quite often. The mindset someone's got to be in for jump in front of a lorry or off a bridge. Wow. Like talking about it, I just got no words, man.
There's a phrase, and I absolutely hate it. It's only a cry for help.
Oh, well, yeah.
Good. That's a good thing then. Why are we saying that as a negative?
Yeah.
Because at least they are crying for help.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That is not how they get that help.
No, that's it. And I think, especially last year when lockdown kicked in, there was a hell of a lot of people that we were helping off the bridges along the A50 and the A500.
Yeah.
It was a really difficult time because I remember driving the flyover in Festival Park.
Yeah.
I was driving towards that, and I saw this woman on top, and she'd climbed over the barrier. Cars were stopping, but luckily there was a police car coming over the flyover, so they'd stopped, and then next minute there must have been about 5 police cars and an ambulance. But I was sitting there, I couldn't move because the traffic was stopped. I was sitting there and I saw people with the phones out, videos, photos, whatever.
Yeah.
But I was sitting there and I instantly just thought, you know, what the fuck? You know, all these people with phones out. I mean, I was
We've
quite
had that before loads of times. That we're at scenes where the deceased can still be there, and they're there with their iPhone hanging over a bridge filming you, or the worst is when the press turn up, and we've had to tell photographers from the press to
go
knob off.
Yeah. I mean,
give that person some dignity.
Yeah, dignity and respect. It's just not there. So like
you've got to be a complete. Oh, I don't even know what to say. I mean, to do such a thing in regards of like you see
disgusting,
and just the first thing that comes into your head is, let me get my phone out so I can get a picture. Like, what are you going to do with that picture? Like, how is that going to help you benefit your mental state?
Yeah,
we've had it before where we had a lad killed in a car, and he was a passenger in the car, so it wasn't registered to him, and he got no ID on him, so we didn't necessarily know we weren't 100% sure on who he was, his identity, and his mum found out because someone had put a photo on Facebook.
No way.
Taken from a bridge, and she recognised the car, and you sort of think,
what the fuck?
You can't stop, rewind, and do that all over again.
No.
That's her life now, that she found out about her son's death from some arse on Facebook.
Wow.
Why would you even think of doing it?
I've got no words for shit like that. It's like, I spoke to someone a few weeks ago, and they were on about like likes that people want on the social media. They want as many likes as possible.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid to say, shit like that gets attention.
Yeah.
It's just sick attention.
Yeah.
Abuse, sick things, violence. It gets more attention than you being kind, loving, and caring for someone.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't dream of getting my phone out when someone's on a bridge wanting to kill himself.
And or if you did, it would be to ring 999, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be to film it.
That's it. I mean, I was quite far back, and I was thinking, why aren't people that have stopped underneath the bridge getting out the cars and giving her a bit of vocal support?
Yeah.
Instead of sitting in the car with the phone out. But from where I was, the police had got it pretty quick. I don't know if the call was made, like, but as soon as I turned the corner and saw the bridge in the distance, there was a police car coming over. So I don't know if the call was made or what, but it was pretty quick, and they got her down. But then all day after, I was thinking, she's end up going to the local Harplands, the mental hospital. She'll have an assessment, and then she'll probably be out in a few hours, because that's what happens.
Yeah,
that's what happens. I'm afraid that is what happens.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you for your time, bro. It's been a good chit chat. Good chit chat, and I know you still try and recruit me for the police.
I'm available.
Brilliant.
Scottish police for you. But no,
before we go, we've had a conversation about how do you approach conversation with someone who might need help. So to end this, between you two, obviously, I'm not going to get involved.
Oh God!
How would you approach someone that you visibly you see that they need help? How would you approach them? Just so someone's listening or watching can maybe take some notes and advice on how they could maybe help someone else who might need help.
I think it's, are you okay? How are you?
Yeah.
2 questions.
Yeah.
And be prepared for the answer as well, because the answer might be something you don't want to hear, but
yeah,
be prepared for it, and then be prepared to support that person. I think just be honest and open and empathetic with them.
Yeah,
because that's what I had.
Yeah.
And that's how I am with, anyone I have any dealings with. But be honest and open, and caring and empathetic and all the other words that go with it. But
yeah,
it's so important to show that you care.
Yeah, definitely.
And be genuine about it, not like, a fake Facebook, are you okay, hon? You've got to be genuine about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me as well, it's asking them straight away if they're okay. And if they say, yeah, I'm okay, it's like, well, are you sure? If you've got anything to talk about, I've got time, and like Andy said, you've got to be prepared. Like you could be there for a 15-minute chat. You could be there for a 2-hour chat.
Yeah.
But then if they do tell you things that are quite traumatic, you've then got to look after yourself by going away.
Yeah.
Even now, if I've spoke to someone and they've given me like a really traumatic story about what's happened in their life, and then they're fine now and they've gone and whatever, I'll still carry that. So I'll go home then and I'll tell my wife, I'll be like, listen, I've spoke to someone today and they've hit me with a pretty sad story. It's like yesterday I had a phone call off a lady who wants to help Men Unite give a donation. She basically messaged the page and just said, can you get in touch with me? So I rang her. Real lovely woman. We had a good conversation. It turns out that she lost a brother. So then stuff like that, it's like unexpected conversations. You've got to be ready for them, man. You've got to be ready for them. You really have. But if anyone is struggling, we've got Samaritans, which is 116123. You can give them a bell. They're doing some amazing stuff. And if you don't want to talk over the phone, you can text shout, which is 85258. So you can text shout. I've not used their services before, but I do believe a few people that I know have, and they've helped massively. So that's a massive step. And also, I have, like we did last week and the week before, I've got a video to end on.
Let's go.
So, Andy, thanks for your time, bro. Honestly, it's been lovely speaking with you.
Cheers, and you.
Keep doing what you're doing. Keep talking, keep working hard, and never know. One day I might be in the uniform.
You never know.
Keep being yourself, man.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Keep being yourself, and then it's been a pleasure. Your stories, what you've been through, your journey. It's been a hell of a roller coaster this episode, but amazing. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Let's watch this video now. Let's go.
I need you to recycle your pain. Because what you're going to discover as you're going towards your dream, as you're going towards your goal, there are going to be so many people that come up against you, so many obstacles, so many trials, so many tribulations. And when people ask me, E.T., like for real, E, I know you can give me 20 things that you've done to help yourself to become successful. But E.T., I just need like 1 or 2. Can you give me 1 or 2? And one of the things I tell people is, I outlasted the pain. I outlasted the pain. When I was sleeping in those abandoned buildings, I kept telling myself, one day you'll be a homeowner. Every time I walked into that abandoned building, I told myself that this might be your current circumstances, but this will not be how the story ends. All you have to do, E.T., is to survive today. Survive today. I knew that I would not be a high school dropout for the rest of my life. I knew I gotta get through this one day. And so every single day when I wake up homeless, one day. Every single day when I woke up in that abandoned building, one day. One day is going to be E.T.'s day, but that day can't come if I give up today. So every single day when I woke up, I kept telling myself, today might not be the day, but soon it will be my day, and I will recycle my pain. What will you do with your pain? Will you let it break you, or will you let it redefine you?
I will not go down that way. I choose to fight back. I choose to rise, not fall. I choose to live, not die.
You keep standing. No matter how rough the sea, you keep standing. No matter what, you don't give up. You keep standing.
This is not time to quit. We might be discouraged, but we're not defeated. This is not our time to give up. We thrive in the disappointment. We thrive under problems. We thrive under stress. That's what we do. We are acquainted with sorrow. We are acquainted with grief, but we rise. You're gonna have some hard times. There are gonna be difficulties. Eric, things are not going the way I planned. If success was easy, everybody would do it.
When you get knocked down, and you're going to get knocked down, when you run into some roadblocks, and you're going to run into them, when you have some setbacks, you can always be able to bring yourself back in, knowing if someone has done it, it's possible that I can do it. It's necessary, ladies and gentlemen, when you're working on your dream, that you learn how to handle rejection, that you become empowered by it, that don't let it stop you. Most people, when they hear no or they're rejected, it takes their power away, and they become discouraged. They lose their spirit, they lose their energy. They stop. No. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's necessary to face a lot of rejection, a lot of no's. I don't have any college training. I don't have any credentials. It was necessary that I face a lot of rejection, a lot of laughter, a lot of no's in order to get here. It was necessary that I face that. And I'm saying to you, when you're facing those rejections day in and day out, don't say, I had a bad day today. Say, I had a character building day. No guts, no glory. You've got to be willing to face rejection and no again and again and again. Defeat again and again and again. And every time life knocks you down, you jump up and say, it's not over until I win.
Stand by.